Okay. So, leave that on the board for a couple of seconds now that I'm recording. And then we'll move on to the first question. Okay, we can hit pause if you need to. All right. The first homework question that we have, I think, comes from chapter 2. I looked them up this morning. I looked at them this morning. 120. Yeah. 2.1, number 9 in the book, number 4 online. The following data represent the percent of owners of electronic device that plans to purchase a replacement device within the next 12 months based on surveys of 1,100 adults in certain countries. Complete parts, here's the chart. Okay, there's the chart. This is kind of like a pie chart. Remember me telling you to be able to do a pie chart? Well, this is kind of like a pie chart. What percent of the game console owners right here, buy a replacement device within the next 12 months? Well, how many is the total? 1,100 what? Adults. So take your calculator out. Let's pull up our calculator. And once you take the calculator out, and once you minimize the different windows in your homework so you can do both, I'm just kidding. Things I do for y'all. What? One of them you have to actually. Oh, okay, I'm talking about this. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, yeah. 10.4 is the percent. I was thinking of the other. All right. There are 250 million individuals who own a cell phone. How many expect to replace their cell phone in the next 12 months? Well, here they changed the problem. They changed it to 250 million. So you take 250 million, 250 million. That's how much the lottery is up to. It's up to 300 and 470 now. I think that's 250 million. And we're going to multiply that by the cell phones, which is 14.8%. Now, all of you, since high school, should know, or pre-algebra, that know you can't put in 14.8 and hit the percent button. You have to move the decimal 2 places to the what? To the left. So that'd be point times 0.148. And I'll be honest with you, out of all the questions you could get on this problem, that is the number 1. Y'all try to put, okay, I'll see her. Y'all try to put 14.8 in there, and it gives you all kinds of weird stuff, okay? Hit 1.148 and enter, and there is your answer. 3,700,000, right? 1, 2, 3. I don't have the same. Do I have 250 million? Oh, sorry. You got to put the right numbers in the calculator. I put 25 million. I'm sorry. It's 250 million. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 0.148. I just did that to make sure you see the kinds of errors you can make. All right, so there's your 370 or 37 million or whatever it comes out to be. And now it says, if the results of the survey were claimed to indicate that 7.8% of the country who own digital cameras plan to replace their camera in the next 12 months, would you say that this statement is deceptive or inferential? Well, let's look at cameras. What does cameras say? Digital cameras, 7.8%. I would say it's inferential because it's based off the statistics. I can't move this thing to where you can see it. And the question says, because the survey reports on a sample of the country's population. Claim requires an inference to the population. Yes. Now, they just said 15% based off of what I decide is, you know, if you said something like that, opinion, they'll say something like an opinion, then you can't use it, or it's not inferential. Inferential is based off of what? The sample toward the population. It's based off the statistics taken from a sample. Okay? Question on that. The number one question I get on this question is this one right here. And that's because people try to put 250 million times 14.8. And I don't know what they do after that, but that's what they do. Or they move it too many places. Or they multiply it instead of 14.8 and multiply by 1.48. Let me get that. Okay? So remember, you got to move it 2 places to the left and make sure you put enough zeros in your number, not 25 million, but 250 million. Okay? And that's that question. Question on that. Okay? Let's go back to chapter 3, 3.1. 3.1, number 39 in the book. Number 13 online. Okay, the first thing it says, Benjamin owns a small internet business. Besides himself, he employs 9 other people. The salaries earned by the employees are given below in thousands of dollars. Benjamin's salary is the largest, of course. Complete parts A through D. Well, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to go ahead and find everything I can about these numbers. So I'm going to take my handy-dandy shortcut here, click and copy the table. Look at there. Open in what?
Excel.
For those of you that like Excel. Now, I was told by my online class that I need to make my numbers bigger. So we're going to make the numbers bigger.
You talking about your problem?
There we go. Right here.
Like font bigger?
Yeah. No, not bigger in quantity. I'm going to do that for your test, but not everybody else's.
400 million.
Yeah, I'm going to do that for your test. You're not going to ask why? Because I don't like it. All right, so here we go. I'm going to make it, let's see, is that big enough? Yeah, that's big enough. There we go. First thing you do is put them in order. Are they in order? Yes, they're in order. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so y'all can see them. That's the whole point of me using Excel, is so y'all can see the actual. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And these are all your X's. This is just like this is data driven. In other words, find the statistics of a data driven set. All right? So, mean, median, mode, range, mid-range, variance, and standard deviation. And I'm also going to put the 5-number summary over here. All right, I want everybody to go ahead and start working on it. And if you can't do it, just mark it up as what? Failure. Huh?
Yeah, we were talking about this last time, that was one homework problem actually was like 15 questions.
Well, that's just a homework problem.
That's the one.
It's not going to be on the test. If it is, then I'll try to take it off. Okay? You're going to give up? Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to try. Min, max, quartile, second quartile, all right. Like I say, if you can't do it, Just consider yourself a failure and meditate. You're welcome. No. I quit buying stuff for the class. You know why? Because somebody complained.
Are you serious?
I used to buy biscuits for the class. So, why don't you get biscuits at Chick-fil-A? Give me that biscuit back. Our society, I tell you, our society has turned into the United States of pansies. Free food is free food, right? Well, all you can say is idiots. What do you not look in the mouth? A gift horse. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. If somebody offers you something, there's two answers. Thank you and one. Nothing. Well, why didn't you get this kind? You ever seen a SpongeBob episode where SpongeBob tries to get that guy to eat a Krabby Patty and just smashes it in his face? That's what I want to do with biscuit. Gotta find the meaning first.
Oh man, I'm so lost.
Well, what you're supposed to do is say that you don't know what's going on, and I say, what part do you not understand? I don't know.
The whole thing.
That's a cop-out. If somebody's really lost, they will say, I don't understand this. I don't understand.
His daughter is a teacher.
Yeah.
So, some of the stories she told me.
Don't surprise me.
I can't believe it. She just recently went on a trip, and while it was like 2 weeks or something, and she gave everybody what to do. It was very good. There was like 5 students that failed the test, and they had time to back it up, but they had not done it. So she, over and over. You're gonna retake this. You got to do it before this day. But they waited until she went on vacation. Went to the principal. She wouldn't let us. We need to retake this test, but she's gone.
Yeah.
So she gets back and they make this big celebration. She was all in and said, look, I've contacted all of them at least 3 times and they never even responded to me. So I said, I'm done. You know, she said they had 3 weeks already, never responded. You know what they made her do?
Oh, they probably made her give her the test.
That's exactly what they did.
That's why I don't
No, not the test. A grade, a B, a free B.
That's why I don't teach in public school.
And she's been told, yeah, it's great. And she said, well, what about the rest of the class? That's not fair. You just give these people a grade. So what about the rest of the class? You need to do something for them. He said, that's great, do that.
Yeah, a trophy.
I was like,
give them all a trophy.
You just missed the whole point. It's like, so because 5 guys are slackers, everybody gets rewarded. How does that work?
It's called participation. And guess what happens when they get to the real world? They're not going to fail. They're going to cry, and they're going to have a tantrum until they get what?
Somebody does something.
Until they get their way.
And she was like real cool about it. I mean, she even told us like, this is not right.
It's not.
I mean, that's just flat out wrong.
Yep. That's true. And we all know whose fault it is. It's Russia. And George Bush. He's a Democrat. You don't blame Democrats for anything. If you do, you're a racist.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Williams, quit distracting me. Do I need to call security? Security! Security! I believe it would be what? Blind leading the what? Yeah. Oh yeah, you're not supposed to say blind, are you? So, radicals hit London, and two of police officers, without what?
Guns.
Without guns, tried to stop them, and they got stabbed.
So ridiculous.
So stupid. And the mayor says, "Don't be alarmed. Don't be alarmed."
Well, if they'd have had guns, we'd have been over in about 4 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You a racist. What?
I said I know that.
I knowed it. All right, I'll go ahead and do y'all's mean for you, so you can at least see if you're starting off wrong.
Back to the formula.
How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many are there? I can't move down. 10 divided by 10. Well, that's easy. All you got to do is move the decimal. I got 50. What'd y'all get?
That's it.
Okay. You got it right. All right, I'm going to have to put some decimals on the side. I got to do something so you get it wrong. I mean, I'm not supposed to encourage y'all. Well, good. I'll put 20 numbers on there. Y'all don't understand. This isn't a participation class. This is an everybody fails class. Y'all ain't working on math. Y'all talking. Laughing. There's no laughing in math. You're supposed to be distraught, miserable.
So that means I'm doing good.
Yep. The more miserable you are, the better the class.
Good. So,
Okay, there's 10 numbers. So what does that mean about our median? Do we just find the middle, or do we find the average of the middle? Find the average of the middle, Hubert. That's right, class. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So these two are going to be averaged. And of course, we know that the average of 50 and 50 is 50, but you have to go through and actually do it because you don't want to, those two numbers are different. You have to go through the math and do it. And 50 shows up the most. What's the range? Equal to the highest minus the what? Lowest. At least you get one right, right? If you get the mode wrong, Don't tell anybody. Right? Just act like you got it. Yeah, I got the mode right. Everybody got the mode right. We won't talk about it if you get the mode wrong. If you get the mode wrong, then we just won't talk about it. Mid-range is equal to the highest. And what do you do to it? Divide it by 2. Take the average of the highest plus the lowest. Good. Somebody listen. Divided by 2. Oh, y'all read it in the book? Okay. Yeah, you read it in the book.
Listen, you just do 50. Most of them.
Yeah.
Chances are you're good.
All right, the variance. We got to take the summation of all of this. Now, how do you do that? Well, in the formula that I showed you, and I told you to read the formula, you take x minus x bar, you square it, and then you what? Add it up, Hubert. That's right, class. Take that number and divide by not 10, but 9, Hubert. That's right, class. Mm-hmm. Go back to the formula and look at the bottom. Y'all just making up y'all's own mathematics is what y'all are doing. 2. Just throw out a number. Yeah. And then you raise that number. Let's see, that's G8. Raise that to the what? 0.55. And that's your standard deviation. Now, what can y'all tell me about the data? Pretty tight. There's not a lot of outliers. The numbers are consistent. Okay? In other words, it's valid. The numbers are pretty close together. Now let's look at the normal distribution. And I'll put that right here. Equals mean. And equals the mean plus standard deviation, F4. And I'm just going to copy that over once because I don't want to. And I'll do it over here and subtract. So 90% of the population is going to fall between 19 and what? 81. Now let me take my handy dandy whiteboard. Keep it separate. And we'll insert a little bit of empirical rule here. This is 34. This is 34%. This is 13.5. And this is 2.5. Now, again, in this book, it does say this is 2.35, and then the outliers is 0.15. If you do just 2 standard deviations, you can call this 2.5. If you go to 3 standard deviations out here, then you have to change this to 2.35, and this is 0.15. But it's not a big deal. 13.5% and 2.5. So if a book asked you, if a test question asked you, how much of the population is going to be between 34 and 66, you tell me 68%. And there's one of the homework questions y'all sent in that deals with the empirical rule, so I'm just going to wait until we get to that question to go into the empirical rule more. 5-number summary. I'll do the min and the max for you. Yes. You always add the standard deviation. What'd you say? I heard. Because you are a failure or a loser, yes, and you're going to live in a ditch. Probably because of your calculator. Go hit mode on your calculator. Everybody hit mode on your calculator, and I'll show you this. And it's usually safe to have it on there. Hit mode, then go hit float, and enter. Make sure all yours are on float, because that makes sure it just carries it to whatever digit's important. In other words, if your calculation cuts off at the 5th digit and there's nothing but zeros, it's not going to put a bunch of zeros after that 5th digit. It's going to just round it to 5. If it keeps going and keeps going, it's going to carry it out to 10 digits. If it only rounds up, like, what is 7? 7 divided by 2. What is it, 3.5 or something like that? It's going to say 3.5. It's not going to put a bunch of zeros. That's what floating means. Okay? So try that. See if that works. Okay, now the 5-number summary, I'll do the second one for you. Why'd I do all 3 of those for you? Because you don't have to do anything. If you miss those 3 on the test, you don't what? You don't tell anybody. Okay? Because then you just hang around a sign around your neck that says, I am a loser. Because I can't get easy questions right. All right? First, well, we got to take the mean. First of all, I'll take a red dot. And we'll put the red dot right here because that is where that number is right there. Now, you can't see it because both of them are 50s. But when you take the average of something, you're finding the middle number between those 2 numbers. So how many numbers are above that red dot? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you pick the what? The middle one. So you take your handy dandy cursor and you put it right there. And you paint it a different color. Let's go with blue. And the second quartile is that number. First quartile. And that's orange. And third quartile, 1, 2, 3. Boom. We'll color that thing over. And what do you draw first with your box plot? Do you draw your box first, or do you draw the number line first? You draw the number line first. The number line is made up of your min, your max, and your what? Your mid-range. Your min is 20. Your max is 80. And your mid-range is what? 50. Now you got to find the mid-range of these. Well, that's easy because they're base 10. And 50 to 80 is what? 30. Half of 30 is what? 15. So that's 65. 20 to 50 is 30. Half of 30 is 15. So that's 35. 20 to 35 is 15. Half of 15 is 7. 7, 27. 50 minus 7 is 43. 50 plus 7 is 57. 80 minus 7 is, I have no idea, 73. Okay, so that's done, and that's done. So now all you got left is what? Box plot. Take the blue marker, and that's 45. Take the other blue marker at 55. And then 50 is in the middle. So is this a normal distribution? Pretty much, because all your data is in the middle. And the middle matches up with this middle, so it looks pretty much a normal distribution. So that means that this is a normal distribution. Now I have no idea what the question is asking, but we'll go back to the question now and see what we get. So make sure y'all write this stuff down because I ain't going back and forth. Okay? Make sure you write it all down. Who's got questions? What's that? What? I'm looking. This is the box plot.
I don't understand
The what?
I was going to say I don't understand why the 5-number summary, the quartiles are not the same numbers that we chose for the box plot.
They are right here.
Well, I would have thought that 35 and 65 should have been the first and fourth quartile.
No. The number line is not based on anything. The number line is based on just numbers, where they're supposed to fall. It's like a number line. You can't draw a graph if you don't have a graph. You have to have some kind of a graph to plot your points.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, but we're using the same parameters, right? We're using the...
No, these are calculated. These are calculated. These aren't calculated. These are just numbers on the number line. That's why you have to look at it that way. How do you put numbers on the number line? Do you calculate them or do you count them?
See, for me, the quartiles...
Remember, what's calculated? What's calculated? No, with those 5 numbers, what's calculated? You didn't calculate the mean? No, I mean the median, I'm sorry. Did you calculate the median?
On this case, but I didn't take them yet.
You have to calculate. All of these numbers, you have to calculate. These numbers you have to calculate. You just can't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come in. You can't count them and put them in there. You can't do that. You have to calculate them some way, some form. You can't have the first quartile if you don't find the what? Second. You can't find the second if you don't calculate it. You've got to calculate these 3 numbers.
But unless you see that the first number and the third number are not calculated, they're just the numbers that are given.
Okay. How do you get the median? I mean, how do you get this number right here? How do you get it?
Select the one that's in the middle of the other side.
So how do you know? How do you know where the middle is?
Because you the one in the middle. I mean, so it would make if we
No, you're not. Okay.
The midpoint of.
How do you find the median of median? You got to have this number first, the red dot. How did you get the red dot?
Yeah.
So everything in these 3 boxes are based on a what? Calculation. These numbers, are these based on a calculation? Is the mid-range based on a calculation? Yes, you could say it's based on a calculation, but what is it? It's the middle. It's the middle between 20 and 80. You cannot graph a box plot if you don't have a number line. Okay? In other words, let me just do this. Let me get a white piece of paper here.
I don't
And
understand why the first and the third is in the mid-range between the min and the median and the maximum.
okay, you don't understand what? Say it one more time.
The first quartile
This?
isn't the mid-range between the median and the min.
Well, then it would just match up here. It would. You wouldn't have a box plot. You just put the numbers on top of each other.
Yeah, it would seem like when you say first quartile that it would be 25% of the numbers, but 45 is not.
That's what I don't
You know,
understand.
like, it's not the 20. If you took 25%, it would be much lower. It would be like 35. Because you go halfway between 20 and 50, you can have 35. That's what you're saying. Because that'd be 25%.
Divide. Okay. Divide. All right. Divide 10 by 4. Okay. Round 2.5 up. 1, 2, 3. That's your 25th percentile.
And it's still not 20.
Just on the list of numbers.
Okay, which one do y'all want? Do you want to count or do you want to calculate? I just showed you that 45 was the 25th percentile. Now you want to say you want to do it another way. Which one is it? Which one do you want? Do you want to calculate or do you want to count? I can show you both ways.
I like calculate.
All right? Now, if you want to do it this way, if you want to count the numbers, then take your number, which is 10, divide it by 4, because how many quartiles are in a whole number? There's 4. You get 2.5. 2.5 is equal to 3. Then you count 3 numbers. 1, 2, 3, and there's your 25th percentile. All right, count 75th percentile. All right, so that's going to be 10 divided by, let's see, 4. That's your first percentile. 8 would be your second, and then you'll come out with 6.5. I think you'll come out with 6.5. I'm not sure. Whatever it comes out to be. 1, 2, which is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 8. It's supposed to come out to be 8. 7.5. It comes out to be 8, and that's that number. All right. So you can count, and I don't show this method because it confuses students. Okay. That's why I just show you how to find the median, and then you find that, and then you find that, and this represents the box plot. Now, you cannot do the box plot. You can't do it. You can't do it at all. Hold on a second. Okay, here's a whiteboard. All right, I want y'all to put your box plot on there. Somebody come up here and do it. Mr. Goolsby, here's a pen. Somebody put your box plot on there. Why can't you do it? You ain't got any numbers. So you got to have numbers. You got to have. There's two parts. There's the graph, and then there's what you graph on the graph. You can't have. If I do this, graph me a line. You can't graph a line because you don't have what? Any numbers. So with the box plot, you've got to have two things. With a graph, you've got to have two things. The box plot, you've got to have a number line. 2, the box plot. With the graph, you've got to have X and Y axis labeled. And then you can draw what? Your points. So you can't have, you've got to have something. So what makes up the number line? The mean, which in this case was what? 20. And what? 80. Now, you don't have to calculate the mid-range to get the middle of these two numbers. You could just say, what's the difference between 20 and 80? 60. Half of 60 is what? So it's 30 to the middle. So that'd be 50. And then 50 to 80 is 30. Half of 30 is 15. So that'd be 65. 15 would be 35. Okay, now I have my line done. Okay, now I've got something I can graph on. And now you get this box plot. Okay, what's the numbers on the box plot? There's only 3 numbers. What are they? 45? Well, this is 43 right here, I think. 45 would be right here. And what's the other number? The third quartile. 55. Let's see, this would be 57. 55 would be right here, and then 50 is in the middle. Now, is that always going to happen? No. If these two line up, this is 50, this is your median. If these two line up, you've got a what? You've got a normal distribution. If this line right here is to the left, then you have this, which is skewed right. If this line right here is over here, then you have skewed left. So then there's your box plot. Does that help? Well, ask. I mean, if you've got a question, then everybody else has a question, or somebody else has a question.
And I understand how we got to this point. It just doesn't make rational sense to me that a quarter of the data given is not the mid-range between the min and the curve. But I guess it's just one of those it is because of this one.
I'm trying to understand your question.
Yeah, because I see what you're saying. It's that you would think 25%, the first quartile would be 35, based on your numbers.
Well, there's no way that could happen
Well,
because look, okay, all right, here we go. I'm going to give you an example.
Well, let me ask you this.
No, you can't ask no questions now. I got this on my brain. All right, do this right quick. Do the 5-number summary for this. I'm gonna just do 7 numbers. That way it's easy for you. Okay?
That's what I was about to ask you. If you do the odd number, it's going to change everything.
Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You want to do it with even numbers? Let's do this now. 62 and 100. There you go. It can, but on your number line it don't matter because you're just trying to find something to plot to. So nobody's going to hold you to a decimal on your number. So just don't do it right. Yeah, you got to have something. Because I don't give you any numbers here. There's no way you can plot. So you just do it whole numbers. That's why I don't do any decimals. Well, no. What's 5 to 100? That's 105. And 105 divided by 2 is 52, right? Huh? 100 plus 5 is 105. 105 divided by 2 is 52.5, which is 53. So 53 is in the middle. Huh? That's the mid-range. That's the midpoint. In algebra, it's called midpoint. In statistics, it's called mid-range. It's the middle. Okay? Or you can say, what's 5 from 100?
Oh, it's 95.
And then half of 95 is,
Yeah, that's why.
and then you can add it to that. You'll get the same number no matter what.
Oh,
Okay? And 5 to 53, 48. Don't help me out. Half of 48 is 24. So 29 is right here. Right? 24 from here is 76. Y'all check my numbers. And then half of 30 is 15. Or 5, 29 is 24, 12, 17. 12 is 41. 12 is 65. And 12 is 88. Okay, so there's my number line. So that takes care of that number and that number as far as whatever. Now I need to find my box plot. Okay? So my median is the first one we have to calculate because we can't find our box plot if we don't have our median. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got to take these two numbers and do what? And divide by 50 plus 56 divided by 2. That's 106 divided by 2, which is 53. Okay, equals 53. Now that 53 is right here. Okay? So 53 is our second quartile, or 50th percentile, whichever one you want to call it. 53. Okay, now, how many numbers are above that? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got to take the average of these two. 32 plus 33 over 2. 32 plus 33 is 65 divided by 2. 32.5. Right? And then third is equal to 60 plus 62 is 122. 62 or 61. I don't know. Y'all help me. 61. Okay, so there's our box plot. 33 is going to be right in here. Let's see, 29, 41. We said that's, what is that? No, it's 12. Half 12 is 6. So that would be 35. Okay, so 32 would be somewhere in here. No, 30, let's say we're going this way. Yeah, 32 would be somewhere in here. And 61, 7 right here, was 60, 50, well, 60 would be right here, right? So 61 would be right about here. And then 53 is right in here. Uh-oh. Is skewed. In other words, all your data is on the left of the center. So it looks like this. Is skewed what? Left or right. Skewed right. Now, if you count, how many numbers you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? 8 divided by 4 is equal to what? Huh?
2.
And 1, 2, right in here is going to be your 25th percentile. But see, that's why I don't show this method, because you have to remember another rule to actually get to that number right there. So that's why I don't show this one. I show the actual visual. If you go up and take these two, and that's it's the best way for students to learn. Does that one help, Ms. Frank?
Yes.
Any other questions? What's that? What numbers where?
When you did the 12,
You just take half of half of half. What's 5 to 17? What's 5 from 17? What's half of 12?
6.
11's in the middle. 5 plus 6 is 11. It's called interpolation.
Yeah, that's just.
You just take half of half of half of half and just add it. I mean, what's 88 to 100? 12. Half of 12 is 6. The 94. 6 from 88, 82. 6 plus 76, 82. 76 minus 6, 7. Now, it's a little bit off because I'm making everything a whole number, and it's supposed to be decimal, so that's why 65 to 70 is only 5. Let's start. Why am I not worried about the number line? Because the number line is not what you're being graded on. The number line is just the number line. It's going to be the same no matter what. This is what you're being graded on. The box score. All right? So my suggestion, Miss Grant, is, you know, in probability, we do what's called a additive law, and you have to have a table. And one of the problems students have with doing that table is they try to look at the table and they try to figure out the table. And I tell students before we even start, don't try to figure out the table. Because what happens is students get confused by looking at the table. They're trying to figure out, well, how can this person be this and this? Don't do that. And what I'm trying to say is sometimes don't read into it too much. Okay, just do the number line and then define your first median, your second, and third. It's not that complicated. I mean, it's not that complicated. I think what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the percentile to come out exactly like 25% of the, and you can't do that because look, is this 5 to this 32 the same weight as 25 to 32? No. These two sets of numbers have total different weights. These two are closer to each other. These two are not. So that's where you start to see this go to the right because of that 5 and that what? That 100. That 5 and that 100 messes up your togetherness or your tightness. It makes it loose. And you can't go with the same thinking with 10 numbers that are tight versus 10 numbers that are loose.
So really for your number line, you could do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and just pick.
No, you have to go with the min and the max. You have to go with the min and the max.
As long as you plot the numbers right, it shouldn't matter.
Yeah, you could do 5, 6. If 5 was your min, you could do 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 100.
Yeah.
But that's what you're doing when you find the median of the middle.
If you done it 1 to 100, it shouldn't matter as long as you start it and end it.
No, it wouldn't matter. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah. Which it's easier to do it that way.
Well, you should be familiar with interpolation.
Yeah.
Contour lines, you take the distance and you divide by the height, and you get the contour. That's interpolation. Same thing here. You find the middle of the middle of the middle. What if I wanted to find the middle of 5 and 11? Well, what's the difference between 5 and 11?
6.
Half 6. 3 plus 5 is 8.
Yeah.
So what you're doing, instead of going from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you're finding those numbers between 5 and 100, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But say 5 is near 0, so you don't really think about it.
Yeah.
But what if it was 46? Are you going to write 1 to 46 on your test when you don't have to?
Yeah.
I mean, that's extra time. Yes.
How did you get to 12 then, to separate?
What 12?
The original number, you know how you did half and half, like you did 12 and between numbers.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, you got 3 numbers, 5, 53, and 100.
Okay.
All right, 5 and 53, you take 5 plus 100, and that's 105, and divide that by 2, you get what? I don't know, I'm asking.
52.
105 divided by 2. And 52.5, yeah, there it is. 52.5 is 54. Okay, now, what's between 5 and 53? In other words, subtract it. 53 minus 5 is 48. Half of 48, 24. 24 plus 5 is 29. This is 24, right? Half of 12 is, half of 24 is, 12 plus 5 is,
Okay.
and you keep
So
going.
you're just
You
making
finding half, 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 half.
So you're just making it easier to do the box plots.
You're graduating it, yes. Oh, we had a light go on. Okay, I cannot ask y'all as a,
That's what I was trying to
I
figure out.
cannot ask y'all to do this. I cannot ask y'all graph the box plot. I can't ask y'all that. All right, now you could go 0, 1, 2, 3, and if I give you 5 questions on the test, you do every one of them from 0 to 200.
Yeah.
How long will that take you?
Yeah, what I was saying, I'm just saying for the sake of maybe
What you were
trying to get
saying-
her thinking is that you could do like that number. We went from 5 to 100, so I could do 0 to 100 for my
It won't
number
make
line
any difference.
every time, as long as I plot it in the right place. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
I get it, it doesn't make
It's just
rational
weird.
sense, it just is what it is.
Yeah, you could
There
use.
you
I
go.
hate math, there's no common sense.
No, I wouldn't say that. Just because you don't understand it does not mean it doesn't make sense to other people. All right? There's other people that it makes sense to. All right? You just have to learn it. Listen, I took abstract algebra 3 times, and that's where there's no numbers on the pages except the page numbers. Okay? And I took it 3 times, Miss Grant. F, and C at Clemson, and that's at least $1,500 a semester for one class. So, and I never did understand that class. And I had this girl sit beside me. She's from BHP. She teaches at BHP now, and she sat beside me and I'm like, what the heck are you doing? Where do you get the answer? And it, like I said, it made sense to her, and I had no clue what was going on. And I still give her a hard time about that. Okay, so just do the number line, and then do the percentile. Okay, and try to just get by with it. Okay, I promise you, it will be right if you do it that way. Okay. All right. Anybody have another question about this? All right, so this is a test question. This is 2 test questions. What are the 2 test questions? This is a test question. Wait a minute. This right here is a test question. All this right here. That's number 1 on that list I gave you. And this, somebody look on there, number 4 or number 5? Number 5 number summary and box plot. Now your calculator will do it also. But if you look at your calculator, it could confuse you. I'll show you that Thursday, okay? All right, now let's go to the second type question. And that question is, all right, don't leave mad now. I'm kidding. 3.2, number 29. Let's see what this one is. That's number 45. Okay. 29, number 8.
I should at least get these right on my track.
No. You're going to get them wrong because remember, I don't like you. All right, this is the one I wanted to show you because some of y'all don't understand the empirical rule. So here I'm going to pull in, go ahead and write that down. I'm going to steal it, pull my snipping tool out. Save. Call this, what did I call it? Empirical. I can't pull it in on the transparency, so I have to pull it in on the whiteboard. So hold on.
I know y'all are impressed. There you go.
He's making the motion, so.
No. Okay, we can do that. Like Patrick on round. Y'all finished? Okay. Y'all dizzy now? Now I'm going to bring in the empirical rule. There's the empirical rule. And so you don't even have to write anything. You can just copy this down on your paper and bring it in as, there it is. You might have to fill out the bottom right here, but that's not a big deal. Or if you don't like that one, you can bring another one in. And all you have to do on this one is, what are the two most important numbers in statistics? The mean and the what? Mean and the standard deviation. So you put it on the bottom. Mean is in the middle. 6 cubed, what is the mean? 100. So you put 100 in the middle. And what's the standard deviation? 111. So that'd be 111, 122, right? And 133, 89, 78, 67, and that's all you do. Now you just go through the questions. What percentage of people has an IQ between 67 and 133? Well, you know this out here is 0.15. Okay, I'm sorry. I've had training. There. That 1.15 is out here, and 0.15 is down here. So what is 100 minus 0.30? 99.7. So your answer to the first one is 99.7. I'm sorry, what? Well, this one is 0.15 right here. The outliers right here. And this one is 0.15. The outliers. So what's 15 cent and 15 cent? 30 cent. And what's a dollar minus 30 cent? 99.7 cents. So 99.7 is your answer for number one. $99.70 from $100. I'm sorry. What percentage of people has an IQ less than 89 and greater than 111? Now you can find this two ways. You can either add them up, or you can add these two up, subtract them from 100 and divide it by 2, because you got two sides. You got this side, which is 1, and you got this side, which is 2. This is side number 2, and this is side number 1. So what do you want to do? Well, this is 2.5 and this is 13.5. So that's what, 16%?
Yes.
So this is 16% and this is 16%. So how much is between both of them? 32%.
Now, if it asks for percentage, you put percent. If it asks for decimals, this would be 0.977997, and this would be 0.320. What percentage of people have a IQ score greater than 122? 2.5%. Or 0.025. And that's how you use the empirical rule. POF. Is that what that website's called? Never heard of it. Should be POF, shouldn't it? No, what I meant was you found it. That's interesting. I forgot what it stood for. All right. Who's got a question about this? No questions? Everybody feels good about themselves?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to have to get rid of your smokestacks on the truck now. Never.
Well, it's all the power.
Yeah. It's all the torque. Causes the torque to move. Yeah, the engine to go faster. Yeah. Yeah. Idiots. All right. Let's see what the last question says. Oh, that's number 3 question. That's the number 3 question. So the only thing we haven't covered is Z-score and frequency distribution. So write that down for Thursday if we don't see this next one. I don't know what this next one says. It says, this is 3.2, 45, 10. Maybe y'all can send me one.
I'm just so not used to it from my last class. So I guess I don't do that anymore.
All right, read the problem. Don't worry about what the question's asking, okay? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, now, this is mutual funds. They want you to compare the two, all right? Compare the two. So the first thing you're going to do is send it to the Excel spreadsheet.
Will it do that during the test?
I think it will. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is take this information and I'm going to move it down somewhere else. Control X, Control V. Now, I'm not going to show you the question anymore because I want you to do everything that you know how to do with these numbers. I just took some out. I need to make them a little bit bigger for people at home. Just give me a second. Okay, I can't make them any smaller, so y'all get the first ones. You got to put them in order. So let's put them in order. I'll put them in order for y'all because I like y'all. No, you won't fail. And these, put them in order. There you go. Because I would hate for Mr. O'Brien to actually have to work. I'm sorry, not Mr. O'Brien. You had me thinking about Earl.
Ellis.
Ellis.
Yeah.
Is your wife taking one of my classes?
No.
Okay. There's another Ellis in one of my online classes.
Yeah, she's very glad she's not. She's like, I'm so glad that you remember.
And guess what my first graduate class was at Clemson? Abstract algebra. I still made C in it. And I'm not going to say I cheated, but I did everything I could besides cheat. I still didn't know what that class was about.
What about linear algebra? How about that?
That's all that is solving systems of equations. That ain't bad at all.
'Cause I gotta take that.
311, I think it's called.
That's offered at Truckhead. It's not, I didn't think, I couldn't find it.
So, Miss Grant, I understand. I had that same problem with that guys. It just kind of followed me. I like the one and two to do. If anybody know about Math 102, ask this.
What is that? Is that?
Intermediate algebra.
Yeah, I think it's what
It's one of the best classes on campus, but I taught it for 7 years, and it was a good course. But the way they've got it now, it's, would you say a cluster? Yeah. It's a cluster.
I have a tendency to that from the accent. So when that teacher said imaginary numbers, I left it play. I need to go get some.
But see, that's the way it's explained. You know what imaginary number is? It's a way to write a number so you can add it like x's, like 2x plus 3x. You write 2i plus 3i is 5i. That's the only reason. And I don't tell my students it's imaginary.
It's just, what is this? The square root of -1?
Oh, you had a good algebra teacher. Who's your algebra teacher?
Boom!
Who's your algebra teacher? You don't know?
Is this a guy? And it's smokestack.
Oh, okay. Yes, smokestack on his truck.
Oh, Red Dodge.
Oh, okay. Sound like a real reason. All right, y'all find the mean, median, mode, and all that good stuff. And if you can't find it, then we all know what that means. It's Russia's fault. Well, yeah, it's always Bush's fault, but now it's Russia's fault. Well, actually, it's Russia. Well, I have to go over the list of things that she blamed.
But Comey at one
Yeah,
point.
she blamed Comey. She blamed
Men.
it. She blamed who?
Men in general.
Yeah. No, she blamed women. She said women didn't come out and vote like they should have.
Do you remember that one lady that gave a speech that said, and those of you who don't support her,
You
make
need
your
to go to
soul
hell.
burn in hell?
Yeah.
I was like, wow. I mean, how could
So if you didn't vote for the right person, if you didn't vote for the right person, you're gonna burn in hell.
She said that. And the people are like, yeah. It's like, is anybody actually
I feel sorry for that girl that caught they caught one of the leaks. She is going to be in trouble because guess what? She's got 2 years of inactive reserve left on her contract.
Yeah.
Her butt still belongs to Uncle Sam. So that means she's probably not only going to get jail time, but she's also going to get court-martialed. And she could be brought up for treason because she's in the military. I hope she does. She deserves every bit of it. Okay. What about the top? Here you go. There you go. Now you got to find the mean and everything for both sets of numbers. Don't worry about the normal curve and the 5-number summary. Don't worry about that. Just find the mean, median, mode, variance, standard deviation. And then compare the mean and the standard deviation. Well, I'm not going to go there. I'll wait until y'all get finished.
Did I take 102? Or what's like 102?
No, I hadn't taught 102 probably in 3 years.
What did I take of you?
110,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
college out.
Right. We're all ready to go. Have you taught Trent lately? Well, that was when I signed up for it. I'm not thinking.
No, the sum of x minus x bar quantity squared. You got to find the mean first. Then subtract the mean from each one of the x's. Then square each of those numbers, and then add them up. Okay, I'm going to put some, I forget y'all's names sometimes, so I'm going to order y'all some name tags. And there they are, so, yeah, what happened to it? It went away. Okay, that's not what I want.
I didn't want it either, but I was born with that, okay?
Why can't I find,
Because you're a failure.
I'm a failure? Very good. I'm ordering these today, so if you want some orders, I've already got 2 people that want orders.
Hey, where was that picture taken in Maryland?
1942,
Where was you at?
Paris Island.
Oh, man, really?
Yep. I paid for that picture, let me tell you.
Oh, really?
I dug for about a half an hour, 45 minutes for that picture.
Just digging a hole.
Mm-hmm. No, calisthenics.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what digging is called down there. Huh? No, when you dig in Paris Island, you dig in a sand pit. You do jumping jacks, running in place, mountain climbers, and a sand pit. You got to fill up all your pockets with sand and put sand in your pants.
I was about to say.
I can't find the problem we were working. There we go. And it's all right, so I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna find the mean for y'all, so y'all can see if you're at least on the right track. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, there's your 2 means. Check them and see if y'all got the right answers. Median. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What?
So really, for the standard deviation, the mean means nothing.
What?
The mean has nothing to do with standard deviation.
It's important.
Yeah, once you got to
Yeah.
plot it, but I keep trying to pull it somehow into the equation.
No. I don't really care about the mode in this problem. And plus a decimal, so it's going to be hard to get a mode. Variance or range, range is equal to the highest minus the lowest. Mid-range. Is highest plus lowest divided by 2. variance. Now here it's going to be equals this minus this F4 equals this raised to the second power. Summation. Hold on a second. Divided by, how many did I say was in there? 8? No hiccuping in class. These 7. And then the square root is the standard deviation. It's going to be equal to this raised to the half power. I could have told you that. Copy.
Oh, I just realized that.
All right, I want y'all to check your numbers.
My 4 was right, was wrong numbers.
You said bring it up.
For the X minus X bar is spread, we don't want to, use that.
Well, for what this question is asking, you don't really need it. I don't know. I mean, you just have to make adjustments. Look at the question and see when we go back to it. But what they're wanting you to see is they're wanting you to decide if the data is valid or if it's sloppy. Well, look at the median, look at the mean, look at the median, look at the mid-range, and then the standard deviation is pretty small. But down here, 8.2, 8.05, 8.35. So somebody tell me which one is the best set of numbers. I would say the first one, because the 2.5, 2.4, 2.7 is closer than these numbers, the 8.3, 8.05, and the spread, the standard deviation says that this is more spread out than what? This one. So which set of data is the best data? The first set. And I think that's what they're going to ask you. But we'll look back and see what it says. Well, y'all got to write all this stuff down because I ain't going to come back to it. So. Okay, the meaning of the data set for mutual, that's these. So did I get 2.575?
Yeah.
Did I get 0.669? I thought I did. All right, what about the next one? 8.2 and 0.816? Let me look. I'll have to look. Okay, I got something wrong. Okay, let's see. Let me check it. Equals this.
He's saying he didn't submit. We don't know if his answers are right or not.
Okay. 6.09. So let's go back to the question. $6.09. What was mine? 6.09 what? 6.094 and 8. What was my 8.213? 8.213. 8.21 and 6.094. See what they want. Okay, that's why I was going back and check. And when you copy and paste formulas, you got to watch out. So I got to redo it. Equals this minus this F4 copy. Yeah. That's what you get for copying and pasting.
Dang, there's no hope for me.
Yep. Might as well give up. I told you failed this class.
I did it.
Okay, good. There we go. 0.903. What was the?
Where'd you go?
I copied up here. I copied and pasted it down here, and it messed the formulas up.
You used the average for the
I used this up here, and I copied it down here, and it messed it up. Now look and see if it's 0.903. Is it? Okay. 0.903. Based on the standard deviations, which one has more spread? Stopped. Because of what? It's bigger than this one. See? You feel good about yourself. Now what? What proportion of the bond mutual, that's these, are within one standard deviation of the mean? Well, you have to do your normal curve. You are going to have to do your normal curve. So put 2.757 or whatever. So draw it out right quick. Y'all going to have to use a calculator because I ain't going to do that when you do this. I'll just round them. 2.575, 2.575, and what's this first one? Add your standard deviation. What is it? 3 point what?
2.4.
And what's the one below it?
1.906.
9 what?
0.06.
Okay, so between one standard deviation is going to be, I didn't mean to make the math. We're going to go over probably 2 more questions first. Okay? Go get your voice back. Oh, hey! So between 1.9 and 3.2, that's what you're supposed to do. Oh, is how many percent? 68%. I guess that's what, I don't know what you're actually asking for. 68%? What proportion of the bond mutual funds?
After that, all of that question is like that.
68%. But it says round decimals.
That whole problem, all 15 parts of it is like that.
Yeah.
And it's different.
But I don't know what they're asking for. 1.906.
When I was doing it, it subtracted or something. They kept asking me for the C.
I don't know what it's asking for, so let's just see.
They're asking me later on for the C.
Okay, hold on a second.
You have to do the normal distribution and figure out the proportion of, what was the percentage in that one?
Well, 68%, you don't round to the third decimal, so I don't know.
One standard deviation of the mean, so when you do your little normal distribution, where you plus or add the standard deviations of the mean,
Right there.
yeah, so it would just be one, right? Between the 2.5 and the 3.2 or that.
Well, that's positive 1. This is negative 1. This says one standard deviation, so it'd be between 1.906 and 3.244. So you can't put that in this. So I'm assuming they're.
I think you subtracted 3.
No, that's.
Technically, based on the question, it would be 68%.
I'm gonna put 3 and see what it says. All right, somebody take 3.2. I don't understand what that question is asking.
I think it takes 3.244, subtract about 1.906, divided by That's what it was doing.
I've never seen that question before.
It would be the same either way. One standard deviation is.
This is what I want. I don't know what they want. What proportion of the bond mutual funds are within one standard deviation.
I mean, that's the same as what you're saying.
You know what they're doing? They have to be counting. All right, go back up to your bond mutual funds. How many are between 1.0, 1.9? Somebody count. Let's go back to the spreadsheet. That's what they're doing. 1.9 would be this one, and 3.2. So somebody, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divide 5 by 8.
That is so stupid.
That's what they're doing. I've never done that before. I've never asked students to do that before, so that's something new to me. That's what they did. They went back and they said how many are between 1.9 and 3.2. And they went back and counted, and there's 5. And then you take 5 and divide by 8. I would not ask you that on the test.
And that's kind of sloppy to do it like that.
Yeah.
Really, the empirical rule gives you that a much better idea.
68, yeah. Okay, we figured that out together. Thank you very much, class. Y'all give yourself a pat on the back. What proportion of stock mutual funds, now y'all do stock mutual, I'll put your standard deviation up here. Y'all tell me, y'all do the calculating for me. Alright, I know. 8.213.
The low end is 7.31.
7.3. And what's the high end?
9.116.
All right, go back to the list right here and tell me how many are between 7.3 and 9.1. Okay, so it's still 5 out of 8. So what does that come out to be? So it would be 0.625, and they're going to ask you, what does that mean? It means the same thing.
That's just like another layer of confusion.
0.6. I didn't know that was in there.
Good job.
I feel good about myself. I don't ask for the coefficient of variation, but it tells you, they give you that. Take standard deviation and divide it by the mean. So somebody take 0.669 and divide by 2.575. What do you get?
0.2592.
0.260. And then the next one, do the stocks. Take the 9.903 divided by 8.213. .213 divided into 0.903. Point what? 0.1099, which would be 0.111. 0.110. Based on the coefficient of variation, the more spread is what? The bond mutual funds. In the table below, data set has the heights, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's the same type question.
That has nothing to do with this problem. They just randomly in the same order.
Yeah, they just randomly give you another set of numbers.
Students high. While we're on mutual funds.
Yeah, they don't put mutual funds with business. They put mutual funds with students' heights. Okay, I'm not going to go through that because we're running out of time, but the same thing that we did with those, you do with this set. I don't know what they're going to ask you after that, but I'm not going to give you this type question on the test, but I will give you the mean, median, and mode, that type question. So we've covered 3 out of 5 type questions off of the 80%. Thursday, what day, sir? This is Tuesday. Thursday, we'll go over Z-scores, and we will go over frequency distribution, and also go over the calculator, and if we have time, we'll go over the test. I'm just going to say everybody's here today. Y'all get out of here.
Sunday,
No.
1 o'clock.
Now, hold on just a second. I'll be glad to.
You don't need to have a discussion in the hallway.
About what?
That's not.
At least you're not calling me an ass like one student called me. Just playing. What do you need? You need this? Okay, hold on. There. Let me turn the recording off. Miss McElhannon, you're done.